Thanks for joining Sales with Suli, a mom of three who spent the last 12 summers knocking doors. Welcome to my podcast where I talk about all things women, the ups and downs in my journey, and what it takes to find success on and off the doors. Enjoy this episode. Welcome back, friends, to this week's episode. It's just me. Yay. There's just been a topic on my mind recently as I'm finishing the summer and kind of like looking back and seeing like some of the mistakes and rookie mistakes and kind of some of the things that happens in this door-to-door space that maybe keeps some of us women from hitting our true potential. And that's going to be relationships, dating, toxic relationships. Specifically, we are part of an industry where lines can become super blurry. We as women, humans in general, will start to attach our worth to numbers, to things, to other humans, to people, and just realize like how unhappy that we are because we haven't figured out who we are personally. What we don't realize and what we don't understand is allowing these toxic relationships and individuals to be in our lives. It's just going to hinder a lot of our progress. It's going to hinder the person that we were meant to be. If you allow toxic people, they can be vampires, draining your energy mentally, emotionally, financially. When you're with them, your mood sours and you struggle to be at your best. To sum it up, after you've been with a toxic person, you feel the need to shower yourself in some positivity. How many of you ladies out there, we're on male-dominated teams, we're in a male-dominated industry, and we start wanting to have relationships with another rep or with our managers or with someone else in the space. And what I've noticed more often than not, our success hinders our numbers and stats and everything that we were meant to do and actually set out to do before we had gotten into these relationships just continue to take a toll and continues to dip. And I kind of want to share just some stats and just some studies that I've shown as we continue to, I've even watched it on some of my own teams. Some of us women who just stay in a relationship because we feel like it makes us relevant. We stay in a relationship just because we don't want to be alone. We stay in a relationship just because. But I feel like if we want to be something in the door-to-door space, there needs to be a place and a time. And I've realized and seen a lot of times when girls are having breakups, like even guys, and then jump right in to another one while trying to do one of the most difficult jobs on the planet. Like, how much of a setback are we creating for ourselves by doing that? There's this article that I read, if you guys want to look it up. It's called Talent Smart online. And he brings up a study from Georgetown University that 98% of people reported experiencing toxic behavior at work or online, and just how the downfall has resulted in people not wanting to come back and door to door. But the study found that toxic relationships negatively influence employees and their organizations in 9 different ways. So first, 80% lost work time worrying about the incidents. Like, how many of you, when you don't get a text message from your boyfriend or from your girlfriend, you're just like questioning everything that's happening during your day? Like, how many of you guys, when you guys don't get that phone call, or they didn't call you back, or maybe they didn't like one of your photos on social media, you're just thinking about all worst case scenario because of this relationship that you had. 78% of people in the study had said that their commitment to their organization declined. How many of you guys have dated guys or gals on the teams who maybe aren't as successful as you? So because of it, you're taking longer lunches. So because of it, you're, not getting out to area. You're not knocking as much as you need to because you're just committed to this person, that your potential is being put in the background because you want so much for this person to be better. The next percentage, 66% said that their performance just declined, period. I watched it in front of me year after year after year. Girls, hooking up with the guys on the team, the guys hooking up with the girls on the team. And, you'll sit down with these individuals before the summer starts and they're like, I'm going to do 300 accounts. I'm going to make X amount of dollars. And then during the summertime period, they end up having a relationship, and all those goals and all those dreams that they had at the beginning of the summer are now blurred because they're trying to impress, they're trying to take care of this other human, or they just have like this bit of a distraction that's keeping them from their full potential. 63% of people lost work time avoiding them. They're avoiding, during the summertime, if you break up or they end up wanting to hang out with this other human, on the team, like how awkward is it for you? That was like the biggest thing for me during the summer is I just didn't want to have a relationship with the opposite sex, period. Not because I didn't want to date. I just knew myself. And there are probably plenty of you out there who are just like, okay, Suli doesn't even know what she's talking about. And we've dated and we have relationships and we're doing great. And that is awesome. There's not enough of us who are on that wavelength or who are on that mindset to be able to date someone on the team, to be able to keep your numbers steady, and to keep the promises and commitments that you made before getting into a relationship that might turn around and end up being a little toxic for you and for your growth. And I know for me, especially being in a space where we want to be inclusive of women, that things can just become super blurry, on and off the doors. And I just think that there's not enough of us teams, like myself included. I feel like I wasn't more intentional and more mindful than I was this summer of having a team filled with a lot of women. That I just think that we're not setting the precedent, that one of the ways that we can truly find success during the summertime is not dating during that summertime, and just making the commitment that there's going to be a place and a time for those of us who can date, for those of us who can be in a relationship and continue to find success. Like kudos to you, men and women out there who can. But for those of us who are attaching our worth to people and attaching our worth to stats, we are the ones that need to take a step back and realize if during the time that we're going to be out there knocking, is it going to help us to be in a relationship, or is it going to hold us back? And I've been kind of saddened as I've, just built relationship with some of you women out there in this space who, maybe on social media look like you guys are having the time of your lives, that you're super stoked, and it just looks like that your significant other is amazing and is treating you right. But behind closed doors and on the doors, you're anxious. You feel a little bit controlled. You're not even able to go out and knock doors. You can't even hang out with your teammates because you're just so consumed by this significant other that everything else around you just doesn't matter. Like, how many of you women out there are just being attached to that significant other, or being attached to those stats or numbers on the boards, that it just becomes so toxic? And so I do want to leave with some tips and different things. Like I don't want to be a part of like the cancel culture of where we just have individual accounts, or we just have like people in our lives that we just don't want to be reminded about, who are going to keep us from hitting our goals. But know your worth. For those of you women who are in this space or who are looking into this space, recognize and realize that you have to be willing to stand on your own 2 feet. Despite what the numbers are on the board, despite the relationships that you're with, if you haven't decided that you enjoy and love the woman that you see in the mirror, there is no need for you to go and be in a relationship with someone who probably doesn't feel the same about themselves as well. But for those of you who've reached out to me through social media and kind of just shared like some of your guys' experiences with the relationships that you've had, some of the tips that I would give is start having your accounts be of people that you want to be. Like, start following people who are positive. If you are transitioning from one industry to another and you have realized that those people have become toxic, or those people are no longer supportive of you, unfollow. Go ahead and remove them. Like, social media does not need to be a space of where you feel anxious of, well, you feel toxic. If you are on a team or in a company or part of a community where you don't feel like those people around you aren't helping you level up, either you yourself become the person that other people can look up to, or you need to leave. There's just so many opportunities in this space for us to be able to have healthy relationships. I want to see more of us women taking care of our bills. I want to see more of us women out there in this space being able to go find the financial freedom. I want to see more of us women in this space who don't need to be in a relationship to find their self-worth. And how are we going to do that? By diving in and surrounding yourselves with other women of who you want to be around. We don't necessarily need to be in a relationship to be able to find success, especially in door to door. We are in one of the toughest jobs in the planet. We are dealing with rude customers on a regular basis. We are dealing with teammates who probably don't like who they are. We are dealing with teammates who are struggling mentally and emotionally. And so adding other relationships and adding people into our lives who are just not going to be supportive, that isn't going to be in your best interest. And so for those of you women who are looking in door to door, for those of you experienced reps, because that's what I'm seeing, are those of us experienced reps who are finding each other and dating each other. Like, great. Like, I love door to door because of how many marriages that have happened because of door to door. But let those same people tell you how much better they could have done had they not been in that type of relationship during the summer months. So this episode is just for us to just be mindful. It's just me just putting it out there for those of you women who are truly wanting to find success. Like, hey, Suli, what separates a successful female rep from another? And I'm going to be frank. It's going to be the type of relationships that we are allowing on our lives. It's going to be the type of relationships that we are having on social media, in society, the things that we're watching. Like, that is so crucial to our success on and off the doors, that if off the doors that you're continually surrounding yourself with men and women who are always gossiping, men and women who are toxic, men and women who are always comparing, men and women who are just always finding excuses, you are going to continue to be that same rep in this space. Again, if you don't have a group of people where you can lean on, where you can have those positive relationships, don't make excuses. Find a new circle. Be the leader. Be the type of person that you want to see in other people. And that's going to start with the relationships that you're going to be having off the doors. I cannot voice this enough. on just the relationships that you're going to be having off the doors, it's going to make all the difference for your success on the doors. So again, for those of you women out there who may be in a toxic relationship or maybe in a relationship where they're holding you back, know your worth. Know that you are meant to be in this space. Know that you are enough, and make the decision today to love you. Make the decision today to be able to set up goals, to set up boundaries, to set up a routine of what you need to do to better yourself. Again, if you do not like the person that you are in the mirror, there is no need for us to go and be in a relationship, especially as we're trying to get into this door-to-door space. It's only going to make your life that much harder. It's only going to magnify the anxiety that you have about this space. It's only going to magnify everything negative in your life by doing this job and having a relationship that isn't positive, having a relationship that isn't authentic, having or being around people who aren't going to influence you for the better. And I know, as I'm seeing like some of you women out there who, feel like that you guys are just like lone wolves and like, hey, I'm single and I'm still failing. Like, hey, I'm not in any relationships and I'm not finding the success that I want on the doors. For those of you women out there, I say, start building a relationship with yourself. Start finding out the tools, the things, and the people that you need to surround yourself with off the doors to be able to create the success that you're wanting to see on the doors. Until next time, ladies. Thanks for taking the time to tune in. If I've added any kind of value to your thoughts on knocking doors, please share this podcast with another female rep. Until next time, know that you are capable, you are valued, and most importantly, you are enough.